Welcome everybody to our first episode ever of Interesting Maneuvers. Today we're talking about the new Wave 8 ships. So up first we got the Ghost. So what do you guys think about this giant dump truck that the Rebels have now?
Well, I think it fits a very important role that Auto Thrusters has created in the game. It's a Rebel ship that is offensive enough to just overwhelm an Auto Thrustered ship in general.
4 attack dice is huge.
Yeah, and it has enough crew slots that it can also play a really interesting support role. So I think it's important for that aspect. And unlike the Decimator, they're both expensive, but you're not playing a 2-ship build. You're taking a Ghost. You can grab an attack shuttle and another ship to start with. So you do have, I think, a little bit more flexibility than you do with some of the other bigger ships. And
I've played a couple games with the Ghost, and the thing I've learned is it really does need to be built defensively, I think. Maybe not like every slot focused towards defense, although you can definitely try and go that route, but you need at least some defensive upgrades on it, kind of like the Decimator as well. Its attack value is not quite up to just annihilating everything, to the point where you don't need those defensive upgrades, but I think it's an interesting expansion.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet. I think it's interesting. It's the first Rebel large ship that doesn't have a turret, which I kind of like.
It has all the maneuvers, and it has a turret
primary. I mean, I like it a lot. I think it's just a Rebel Decimator. I mean, which is kind of something that they really needed. I think it's really cool with the attack shuttle on it. I don't think the attack shuttle necessarily wants to stay on it, but I think it...
I think the attack shuttle wants to stay on as long as possible to get that rear arc, and you have the free attack at the end of phase. It doesn't want to stay on until it dies. I think you want the double ship pressure at some point, but keeping it on there as long as possible. And I think the defensive side, I think if you can throw in like a T-70 or even a mildly kitted A-Wing or maybe even 2 Z-95s, I think you can get enough bodies on the board to live without all those defensive upgrades.
I also want to experiment with, because the auxiliary arc is a special arc, the rear arc, and you can use torpedoes out of it, I kind of want to experiment using the Ghost alone and just taking extra munitions and a torpedo and trying that out as like without the attack shuttle, because with the attack shuttle it does increase the cost quite a bit.
So what do you guys think about the new pilots?
I think Kanan's probably going to turn out to be the best of the group for the Ghost, because his ability is really defensive and you can use it multiple times while defending. I mean, you can't use it in a single defense role, you can't use it multiple times, but if you defend against multiple attacks, you can use it, which is really strong. It'll keep the survivability up. And he's got a nice sort of mid-range pilot skill, which is okay.
And Kanan's ability is when an enemy ship at range 1 to 2 is attacking, you may spend a focus token. If you do, the attacker rolls 1 fewer attack die. I mean, that's really solid, especially with there's a lot of Rebel ships that can toss focus wherever they want. You can pull focus off of...
And you can take...
Yep, Isigi.
Garvin.
Kyle Katarn, Garvin. Even just throwing a recon specialist on him. But I think that goes to what Ethan was saying, that you want a defensive build. And like I said, I think if you're running just Ghost as a solo, you definitely need that defense.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, Hera's ability is really strong.
I haven't played a lot of games thus far, but I haven't found her ability. I haven't utilized it that often, or at all actually in the last 2 games that I played. I didn't use her ability. Because I think with the Ghost, you're already really planning around, like getting around people. I think it might see more use if she's in the attack shuttle, because you can get her to pilot skill 9, so she can really react to other people moving. Thus far, I haven't found it that great.
And Hera's ability is when you reveal a green or red maneuver, you may rotate your dial to another maneuver of the same difficulty. It's kind of like a different built-in stay on target.
Well, and with Navigator,
it's an interesting combination of like Navigator, Boba Fett's ability, and stay on target without any drawback.
Well, with Navigator, you can basically go in any direction at any speed because you choose a turn, and then Navigator lets you change the speed, and you can change with Hera's ability. You can change the direction of the turn because unless you're going to the 2 turn.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you would. Initially, you can always just choose the red one. And thanks to the new FAQ, even if she's stressed, you can do all those shenanigans before the opponent has the opportunity to change the dial because you chose an illegal maneuver.
They had to fix that for timing with Adrenaline Rush and also one of the crews. I think it's the Hera crew lets you do maneuvers while stressed.
Yeah, but that would just override that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good that they clarified that.
Yeah, I don't think her ability is like too strong. I don't know. There's not really like a solid build you can do around it. I think the best part about her is just pilot skill 7. I mean, you can vet her up to 9, which on a 4 attack dice, huge ship. I think it's really solid.
She doesn't have any
The
PT.
ghosts don't have EPT. No, the attack shuttles do.
That's right. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like her ability more on the attack shuttle.
Really
7 is really good, and it's not a bad ability, especially if you put Navigator, like I said, so you can do basically anything. But I think it's not quite as strong as Kanan's just because of that. Like, it is a big derpy ship. You kind of need some defense, I think.
You were talking a little bit earlier about Chopper, Ethan. At the start of the combat phase, each enemy ship you are touching receives 1 stress token.
I think that's awesome, especially if you have initiative against all sorts of things, like other decimators. If they're bumped and they're trying to use that PTL, Yasay Nazard, like, trigger, and Chopper has initiative, that doesn't work because you get the stress before Yasay can do her free action, which is awesome. I really want to make a Decimator player cry because of it.
Sam, what are your thoughts on the Ghost and the attack shuttle?
I think you guys have covered a lot of it. It's like the Decimator's big brother, which I love. I play Decimator frequently. I'm really excited to give it a try, especially with Kanan Jarrus's defensive ability. Having played a ton of Decimator, I know how important defense can be. And the attack shuttle is very interesting. I like it docked with the extra firing arc, but I think it's also just a really great ship on its own.
It's dirt cheap.
Yes.
Yeah. It is dirt cheap.
Yes, it is. What's the most expensive pilot is what? 20 points?
Yeah.
22 points? Yeah. That is ridiculous for what that ship can do.
Especially because it has a turret, so with someone like Sabine, who can dance around the map pretty freely, you can not care about arcs, just go for the TLT and be a TLT arc dodger, which is kind of hilarious.
I love Sabine. I want to give her PTL, and it's just you just have a built-in better BB-8.
I think you have to give her, if you're going to go that route, you have to give her the engine mod upgrade so that she can boost and then barrel roll instead of barrel, or...
It gives you the option to do either and either.
Yeah. And then I think you definitely want to take Kanan Crew on there so she can do a white maneuver, so it just opens up her dial.
Yeah.
To clear the stress.
So I think we've covered the pilots pretty well for the Ghost. What about the rest of the kit in general? And there are a lot of cards in there.
The crew
cluster
are
mines, thermal detonators.
I like the thermal detonators. It's just a different seismic charge. I mean, you just get a stress with a seismic charge. I think, like, you couple a thermal detonator with Sabine Crew, I mean, double damaging on, cheap bombs are, yeah.
And
I
Chopper
think that's going to be huge.
Chopper Crew. I I feel very conflicted about Chopper Crew because obviously the ability to perform actions while stressed is one of the reasons why Tycho is still occasionally seen. Chopper makes you do that for free, but you do take the damage, so...
Well, if you're throwing her on the Ghost, I mean, you don't really care that much about your damage. As long as you build it defensively enough, you can make up for it. And being in those situations where you can't take a stress, something like that, just taking 1 damage to open up yourself for next turn, I think is really huge.
But I can see
really
it.
Game breaking.
I can really see it on any of the Rebel ships that have crew. Like, I could see it on a B-wing or on the YT-1300. I'm not quite so sure about the Outrider. I think there are better crew slots available for the Outrider, but still, I mean, it's pretty strong being able to PTL something which can't normally PTL.
Yeah. And reinforced deflectors. After you suffer 3 or more damage from attack, recover 1 shield. I think it's a really solid sensor.
I think it's outclassed by both advanced sensors and
it is.
fire control.
There's a lot of really
it's hard to
sensors,
beat either of those cards,
yeah.
though, because just action economy is huge in this game.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we've seen that card before, though, with the Astromech that lets you cancel damage effectively, and you would think you'd love that on a Y-Wing. I've never seen it used.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to take stress for that one to work, which might play into the thing.
I don't think Y-Wings necessarily care about stress too much. I mean, look at the stress bot, and even Rebel Y-Wings, you don't need to run R2 Astromech. You just lose out on the 3 turn. I think the only reason why you see Unhinged is because the 3 turns red.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we'll see Reinforced Deflector seeing much play, especially because it can really only go on a Ghost and a B-Wing.
Yeah.
And I think both of those want fire control system or advanced sensors more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think the other problem is, at least with the Ghost, it has the evade action, which, I mean, it functions as kind of like what this would do for you.
Yeah.
And it does it better because it's native. It's free. It's right there.
Yeah.
I think reinforced deflectors will be good on a Ghost if the Ghost is going solo, if you're not taking the attack shuttle with it. I think fire control's a lot better if you give it like a dorsal turret and pop title and shuttle on it. You get your target lock for both of your attacks until they detach.
Yep.
But, I mean, 3 points for basically 3 shield upgrades.
Maybe.
Probably. Well, you get them after you take 3 damage, and you got 10 hull, so...
3 damage from a single attack.
Oh, from a single attack.
Yeah. If it was just every 3 damage gain a shield, that would be good.
Yeah, it would be amazing. That's what I thought it was.
It's just when you take 3 damage from an attack, you gain a shield.
Okay.
But having played the Ghost, I will say that happens way more with no agility.
Yeah.
That does happen way more often than
Yeah.
you might normally think. Especially when you're playing some people who can't roll anything other than
Sometimes
symbols.
you just need to roll 5 the hard way every shot.
I'm pretty good at it.
And honestly, I don't know how much damage that would have saved on you. I think you would have lasted half a turn longer, I think.
I don't think it would have lasted any longer because the amount of damage you exceeded my hull by was, in fact, the amount of shields I would have recovered from that upgrade.
So what about dorsal turrets?
I was disappointed when I realized that they were range 1-2 instead of range 3, but I still like them. On the Ghost, at least, you have such a huge base. It really does reach out a lot farther than you might otherwise think, so it's perfectly fine on the Ghost. And I really am excited to try it out on the Y-Wing in a fighter loadout.
Yeah.
Because I think, especially because you can put torpedoes to get that range 3 high attack value, and guidance chips, I think it could be really good.
Taking things like R2 Astromechs or the Unhinged to get a lot more enhanced maneuverability out of there, being able to get in range 1.
I think with Dorsal we might see a smaller resurgence in Rebel Hawks. I know we see a couple for Scum right now because Polob's just insane, and Torgal Mux is also very good, but I think making the Hawk effectively 3 points cheaper or 2 points cheaper, and you lose a little bit of damage output, but I don't think, if you're taking a Hawk for damage output, I think you're using the Hawk wrong. Personally, I think if you're using a Hawk, it needs to be as cheap as possible, and that gives it a little bit of offense while keeping it under 30 points. So, I like Dorsal. I don't know if it's going to replace TLT as much as some people have been speculating, but I think it opens up turret ships for a lot of new options. So.
Well, and dorsal turret on Cavill seems like a really good upgrade to take on him.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
3 points cheaper, 3 dice at range 2, 4 dice at range 1. Seems kind of terrifying.
And with his EPT slot, you can easily pick up Predator, so you're not losing damage output. You get you take the hit at range 3, but the 4 dice at range 1 is.
Well, and it's not unreasonable to put engine mod on him, so he can control the range more effectively.
And then we got some of the other crew. Ezra Bridger, I absolutely love it. Amazing! I can't wait. I want to throw her on
Him
on a dash with push. Give him engine upgrade. Boost barrel roll all over the place, get target locks up all the time, and I think I'd rather take him over
Kyle or Kanan.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know
Kanan,
about that.
I like it.
That's a bold statement, sir.
I like it.
Kanan opens up the entire dial. There's like one maneuver on the Outrider that suddenly can't do to clear stress. That's huge. That's gigantic.
And the engine upgrade Outrider with push doesn't need to K-turn ever, so you're never going to take a K-turn with that. I think saying that with Ezra is like a bold statement. You might not be wrong, but
I think it's better. I think it's better on a B-wing because, especially a B-wing like 10 Num, I think that could be pretty funny as a way of getting his power to activate a lot more.
It could be good.
For the same price as the Mangler, but
It's a real expensive 10 nub.
I mean, I'm not so sure. I mean, I think 10 Num should be run as cheap as possible, but this is a nice way to make sure his ability pops
frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've already covered Hera, Kanan Jarrus. Yeah, he's stupid good.
Kanan Jarrus is
So
my
good.
favorite. My favorite crew out of that box.
I actually also like Zeb Aurelius. I think I really really wish Arvel Krennic could take him. It would be not Arvel because that would be kind of pointless, but it's fun. It would to run him alongside that in the fleet and just have people who bump and shoot. Could be fun.
Or someone like Gemma Sojourn, the extra defense die at range 1, being able to shoot while bumped. I think you could get some interesting stuff with a B-wing on him. Like either an enhanced scopes B-wing.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
On a good B-wing. It's just enhanced scopes, K and Farlander just go forward for bump.
Or put him on the Ghost. It's amazing to be able to especially if you're playing a lower pilot skill Ghost, potentially you can bump something which doesn't have arc on you. So you have a 5 dice attack, and they don't get to reply. That could be pretty huge.
Yeah. Is the Ghosts, when Phantom's docked, is that still during the combat phase, or is that...
It's at the end of the combat phase.
So you'd still be able to zeb the turret shot.
Yeah.
If you have a dorsal. So that's... Yeah. I think there's some play there.
Yeah. And for 1 point.
Yeah, he's real cheap. It's a real efficient.
He's real good. Yeah, looking forward to trying these guys out. You guys got anything else to add?
I think we've covered the Ghost pretty well, so we're going to push on, or?
No, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, we'll get a couple more videos out for you guys. Go ahead and subscribe. We'll get the rest of Wave 8 going for you, and as well as a bunch of videos coming out with some battle reports for the new ships. They're looking really good. Don't forget to like us, and we'll catch you guys later.
Peace.
I forget what we're calling this thing.
Interesting maneuvers.